Hello YouTubers, Tross here, I'm back with some more Kerbal Space Program. We have almost 1 million funds, 55 signs, and 32% reputation. Last time we were able to get a satellite in an equatorial orbit, and we currently have one other satellite contract. But let's look at what else we can accomplish. Hey Gene! We're really looking for some things that will fund well. Even though we do have nearly 1 million funds, we don't have very many buildings upgraded yet. So we'll definitely need to get more funds to upgrade our buildings. This guy wants a suborbital and an orbit. I'm hoping, I'm believing that just getting into orbit, part of your flight will be suborbital, and that will count for suborbital space flight. Then you just get into orbit, and it's not that 2 flights are warranted. That's not a lot of funds though for that. Fly by the moon. That would... I'm wondering why this says expires in 28 minutes. I'm gonna take this just so it doesn't expire. But, it's not something I want to do right away. Maybe once we get a few more tech and R&D stuff. But right now, we're kind of limited in the size of the craft. We just did equatorial orbit. Antenna can generate power with mystery goo. I already basically did a flea solid fuel booster test. This is ferry 4 tourists into orbit. This is get 3 tourists past Minmus and the moon. Alright, 1 past Minmus. And the moon. And suborbital. This guy wants to orbit. Let's fly by Minmus. This pays decently. We could, in theory, do these all on one trip. But I don't think we have the tech for that yet. Spark. Liquid fuel engine. In flight. In flight. See, now if this was in orbit, I would say sure, let's go for it. 48-7S Spark. I'm not sure which engine that is. Now the skipper engine, I know which engine that is. Expires in 48 minutes. That's decent pay. The biggest problem would be getting a skip our engine into escape trajectory in the first place. That's approximately a little more than 1,000 meters per second past orbit. It does pay decently though, but getting a skipper engine. What do we have active? We have fly by the moon, fly a vessel anywhere near the moon. I'm gonna take this skipper one. And maybe we can fly it past the moon. I mean, if we're heading out, we might as well pass the moon on our way out. Let me check something real quick. Okay, the Spark engine is the smaller, centrally mounted orange engine. It's a little bit, I think it's a little bit better than the radial mounted one, but it's a tiny size engine. It doesn't really have that much thrust. Yeah, so like I said, if this was in orbit, that would be a great engine to use on a satellite. But it's in the atmosphere, and so if we were to test it, that would be it basically for that stage. So I am not going to take this one. It will likely expire. If I could put it on something, if we weren't part limited, I could make basically side liquid boosters using it, but the part limit is as it is right now. That would use up quite a number of parts, at least 8, I would say, for a test, and that's quite a significant amount of parts for right now. Alright, so we need a satellite with a thermometer for polar orbit. Okay, here we are on the launch pad. I basically just modified the rocket we had last time. Took out the materials bay, added a thermometer on top. And we're basically ready to go. So we need to reach the designated polar orbit. This is, as I explained last time, going to need some bit of preparation, because we just can't launch at any old time. We can, but it will use a lot of fuel to try to get into the right orbit. If we launch when we're directly under the line here, which will be a bit tricky to set up, but then we don't have to adjust our orbit too much. The only tricky part is heading directly north won't really get us where we need to go, because we start off on surface mode and we need to go basically north in orbital mode, and so we have to counteract the rotation of the planet. So pretty quickly I'm going to change from surface to orbital mode, so we can make sure we're headed in the right direction. But first we need to yeah, we were on the sunny side. We're gonna do a night launch here. And something like that. That looks pretty good. You don't have to be exact, but we don't want to be doing a big adjustment. And in this case, actually I was said north, but we want to be heading south. If we were on the other side, we'd be heading north, but we happen to be closer to heading south. Or at least on the south side. We had already passed. So we need to head directly south once we, and a little southwest. We don't have lights. Hopefully this won't be too bad to see. We're losing power here. We're gonna take off in 3, 2, 1. SES. Lift off. We are generating power. So let's immediately head a little south. And I'm going to turn to orbital mode. A little west as well. There we go. Alright, we're about to stage. Throttling up to full. Staging. And there we go. Alright, so surface-wise, we're heading that way. Let's head a little further to the west to get the orbit pulled over. Now, eventually we want to get this directly on the 180 line. Turn off SAS or not. It's like we're not going quite fast enough yet for the rocket to be stable. But it is getting really close to that 180 line, so let's pull back a bit. Play a bit hard to see. There, that's probably a little better view. Look at that, we're pretty much right on the 180 now. We want to get our speed up. How are we doing in altitude? 40's not bad. Things down a little. Alright, we're gonna run out of fuel in the stage shortly. That's okay. Alright, we are gonna get in orbit. Go directly, well, we're gonna get out into space, out of the atmosphere. Go directly horizontally now. Stage. Continue thrusting. I'm going to actually stop thrusting. Alright, we are in space. Going to time warp a bit, get up to about 90. And at this point, I don't want to get too much higher, but I do want to get circular. So we want to basically, we're a little early, but want to increase the orbital speed up to 2250 or so. Actually goes down a little to keep that going up. It's too much. And we're about to reach orbit. Not the most circular orbit, but that's not what's important right now. Alright, it's hard to see, but I am going to... Actually, it is really hard to see. Alright, I think that will have our solar panels facing the sun in a bit when we okay, this is saying we're about 3 degrees off, which isn't too bad. Again, no maneuvers, so yeah, we're a few degrees off, but 3 isn't too bad. You know what? I am going to just throttle up here. I am going to extend our orbit out to the periapsis here. This, besides being a polar orbit which needs more fuel, this is a bigger orbit than our last time. But we still have the rest of this stage, plus this stage, and we ditched that bigger stage last time when we still had some fuel in it, so I think we're gonna have enough. Let's horizon. We're gonna bring this up to about 8.9 kilometers, something like that. 5, 6, 7. That's pretty good. A little off that way, but I think it's pretty good like that. So we're going to come around here, then extend this out. And if that doesn't qualify, we'll then make an adjustment here at the descending node to get them more lined up. You can see we're pretty far off here. Okay, and we are out in the sun, and we are soaking up the solar rays. Not directly, but it's enough to keep us charged, which is all that really matters at this point. Let's fast forward. So we're just slowing down so we can get really close. I That should be good. I'm gonna spin around here to the prograde direction. A little past. Come on back. That looks pretty good right there. We are going to throttle up and raise our periapsis. And we're going to get that close to 97. We may run out of fuel first. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, I'm stopping it there, because we weren't directly on the apoapse. So it moved, but now it's really close to the periapse of the intended orbit, which is not actually that bad. Yeah, we're still getting solar power, so that's pretty close. Now we're just gonna tap. Actually, we're just gonna align prograde first. Not sure how many meters per second we have left to go, but it's not too many. Let's tap that up just a bit. And we're gonna run out in a second here. I guess that's close enough to qualify. I'm not sure how that was considered stable because we were still going, but I'll take it. Okay, we have come here and we have upgraded the tracking station to level 2. This gives us patched conics visible in the map. Together with our previously upgraded mission control, we have flight planning available, so that means we can now use maneuver nodes. Additionally, I've upgraded the vehicle assembly building, which limits our max parts from 30 to 255, because with the weight of the Skipper engine, we just weren't going to have a viable rocket for getting out of the atmosphere. Okay, I'll admit it. I actually took a try at this and failed miserably. So with the upgraded VAB, we now have a much higher part limit. I have built this monstrosity. It's hard to see here, but I basically made my own bicoupler. The bottom section has 2 main bodies with swivel engines. There's now 6 boosters. Hopefully this will have enough thrust to lift the top section into orbit. The Skipper engine itself is more mass at 3 tons than our whole satellite in the previous launch. So that's basically the whole problem here. We have more than twice the weight to lift, and just getting it into the orbit is a problem, much less getting it into escape velocity. So above this bottom section we have a section with 2 normal fuel tanks and another swivel engine, followed by a final normal fuel tank and a Terrier engine. Hopefully this will get us into orbit and out past the moon. Let's go to launch. Actually, the one thing I forgot to check was our staging. And it's almost there. Let's put this engine with this one, and yeah, the top staging is not correct. Let's add a stage here. drop this, start that engine, and hopefully we fly past the moon, get into escape trajectory, and then test the skipper with just a bit of fuel. But yeah, we have two main bodies here. They're strutted together, and hopefully this will get us there. Turn on SAS, although this will probably... Let's leave it off. It's going to wobble like crazy. That was a problem with the previous rocket as well, and it wasn't this wide. It was just about this tall, but had even less thrust in its initial stage. So let's launch in 3, 2, 1. And we're just going to go up for a bit. Might not be completely balanced, but actually right now it's looking well. Looks like we're maybe rotating slightly. Just tip it east ever so slightly. I said ever so slightly. We are really wobbly. Alright, with those off, we're slowing down a fair bit, but not as bad as the previous attempt. And we are doing quite well, comparatively. Let's rotate the camera around here so we can nebula background to highlight our rocket. Try to get us a bit more on the 90 here. Alright, we are picking up speed a bit, so I feel a little safe. Angle over a bit. Of course, I want to angle over to the 90. I don't know how I got to the 180. Go. I need to keep my eye on this one. This central fuel tank here will start off empty. It was basically just used as structure so we can get the two beams. I have not yet unlocked the actual bicoupler. Orbital, we're doing not too bad. We're up to over, or just about 700 meters per second. Probably can lean over a bit more now. Yes, because that is almost into space. I'll have to stage here in just a moment. I think after we stage, we'll be good for using SAS. Alright, we're almost up to 1,000 meters per second. Let's turn on SAS now. That's good. We probably can go fully horizontal at this point. We need to get about another 1,000 meters per second. In this stage, hopefully we'll have it. This one will need to get another 1,000 or so. We are in space, not really picking up too much speed. Let's see how we can do. Maybe we can get a gravity boost from the moon. And use that to get escape velocity. It should be, you know, let's add a maneuver here. You know, we need to burn right now just to stay in orbit. And here's the question. Are we going to be able to... Well, we've reached orbit. Can we reach the moon? Not gonna quite make it. Let's cancel this maneuver. Let's add a maneuver in 3 minutes. See what we can do. That looks good, and it's another 300 meters per second. As long as that isn't hitting the moon. Oh, maybe that would help. We're going way above it. Maybe if we're more in its plane, we could do all this without going quite so fast. There you go, 318. That's not bad, as long as that isn't hitting the moon, which maybe it is. We'll cross that problem when we get to it. Problem is, we're out of fuel in this stage. Luckily, we should be able to do fuel... No, we can't do fuel transfers yet. We do have a run test button. Maybe we can use that. We have 24 seconds. How much delta V do we have? Well, there is the skipper engine. There is about a little, actually more than half a tank of fuel left. Let's warp out there. Goodbye, Kerbin. Here comes the moon. That loop looks dangerous. Got another hour. Well, there's a reason why that loop looks dangerous. Alrighty. Now, we have flyby moon goal achieved. I think. Okay. We should now be on escape trajectory. Instead of crash into the moon trajectory. Let's, Alright. We are getting some charge. Be sure of that. Let's continue time warping here. Across the moon's surface. There we go. Alright, we're not quite on escape trajectory yet. Let's turn prograde. I'm guessing this will take very little. Well, maybe not very little. There we go. We're getting electricity, so we have a viable satellite. We are in Kerbin. We're on escape trajectory. That's what I want. Run test. And there we go. Wow. That was quite the struggle to get that done. But we have flown by the moon. We have tested the Skipper engine. And let's head back to the Space Center. Had to... definitely was going to do the upgrade of the tracking station no matter what. But had to do the upgrade of the vehicle assembly building as well to get the number of parts, because that just wasn't achievable to get a Skipper engine into orbit in under or at 30 parts. Maybe we could have gotten into orbit, but we weren't getting it out to the moon. So that concludes this episode of Kerbal Space Program. I'm sure it ran a bit long. I'm going to try to keep the next few to 30 minutes, so maybe we'll have to only do one mission. But we do have more parts now, and we have more science, so perhaps we'll don't quite have enough to unlock some more parts, some bigger parts. But definitely bigger parts would help, especially these larger fuel tanks. It would have helped. But now that we have less of a part limit, we'll be able to go to the moon more often. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time with some more Kerbal Space Program.